even. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Landa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steers' first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the wall. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Win. Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, welcome into a Sunday night edition, I think was what I was trying to say, of Chatterbox Reds. It's a losing edition, and it is starting to get pretty dark. I'm sure we'll get into much of what many fans are feeling at this very moment. Nick, I'd ask you where to start. I'd ask you how you're doing. I'd try to come in here and be, somewhat charismatic. Maybe the reason that this show relates to many people, I hope at least, we're about to find out, is that they feel like we're one of them, and yeah, we've kind of built up a little bit of a community, but at the end of the day, like, we're genuine fans, and we try to bring some insight to the table, certainly, but we live in the misery that they live in. I mean, I'm not at a loss for words. It's just, I think where I'm at, Nick, is I feel like the things that I was worried about are rearing their ugly head, and I just hate where we're at. And now I think I've gotten so upset about it that I've gotten positive again. It's this unbelievable cycle that exists, I guess, in Reds fandom. I was so down in the dumps today at about 6 o'clock that I've now dug myself out by 9 just saying, well, what the hell? What the hell? It's just a baseball team, I guess. But we all know it's more than that. Nick, I guess where do we start, if anything? That's the question of the day.
Well, I feel like we should start by saying, look, when we had press credentials in Dayton, we did not cheer, we did not smile, we did nothing.
Right.
We were gentlemen.
Right.
We stayed in our lane and we did nothing more because that's what's important around here. But I don't know. Trace, you could frame this a million different ways. You could say if this was June and you have a 3-7 stretch, it's not a big deal, but because it's the beginning of the season, it is. You can frame it. A lot of the problems we were concerned about have been like magnified to the 50th degree with some of the offense. You can really look at it however you want. The reality is, I guess there's 152 games left to play, and we'll have to see how the season plays out. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of expectations one way or the other. Like, I know some people are like, this team's going to stink. They're going to lose 90 games. I don't. I see people saying, this team's fine. I really don't know where they're at. I honestly have no idea where this team's going to really go from here, and we're going to find out every night together.
Yeah, listen, the story doesn't really change, to be quite frank, in regards to what you've seen in the past is what you're still getting. Espinal hits second again today. I guess we can do the box score recap before we get into the nuts and bolts of the game. I'll openly say, I watched the first few innings and then had to go out to Prasco Park for the Joe Nuxall Classic that ultimately we get the opportunity to broadcast. And I listened to some games on the radio, and I even thought to myself, I probably listened to every bit of 9 innings total of the Reds on the radio. And I guess this is going to come off as a stray, and I don't mean it that way, but I knew I was down bad, and I knew it was tough when the 3 innings that I listened to on the radio when I was driving out there were all Jim Day consecutively. Now, I don't know when or how he got into the rotation, but you want to talk about a fall far from grace between listening to Marty Brenneman and Tommy Thrall. I mean, and I know Jim's trying. Jim's just a fill-in. I know that I don't mean to be negative towards Jim. And I think he would even probably understand what I'm saying. It's just nothing's gone right, and I will get into it later.
Oh, I'm curious now because I listened to the pregame show on the radio. I didn't listen to any second of the game, but Tommy did the interview with Tito.
Oh, Tommy was there. He was providing color.
Oh, okay.
He was providing color for the.
It was the two of them together today.
It was the two of them together. He was providing color, and anyways, it was just hey, it's
okay.
Ho hum for Trace.
Interesting. You ready for it?
I couldn't be more ready for the box score recap.
All right, Reds taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. The final game of a 4-game set in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. No score going into the third inning. The first batter versus Carson Spiers hit a line drive at Jake Fraley that he could not come up with. After Spiers struck out the next batter, Brice Turang hit a ground rule double that Gavin Lux did not get a great read on. Both balls, you could probably make the argument that they should have been caught or could have been caught. The Brewers would end up getting 2 runs on a Jackson Chourio sac fly and a Christian Yelich single. In the bottom of the 4th, back-to-back singles off Spiers to start the inning were followed by a sac bunt, and Spiers' day was done. Sam Moll came in. A pass ball got by Austin Wins to make it 3-0. Then Oliver Dunn laid down a safety squeeze to make it 4-0. And then it really got out of hand when Jackson Chourio hit a 3-run bomb off Moll to make it 7-0 Brewers. Spencer Steer did hit his first home run of the season to get him up to 2 for 24 on the season, but the Reds would go on to lose 8-2. Reds lose their 11th straight series to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Reds have now lost 21 of their last 30 Sunday games.
All right, the deep drive of the day, Spencer Steer. He's on the board, baby. He's on the board. We say he didn't have arms. Next thing you know, he hits 103 off the bat, 379 feet. That would give the win probability of your Cincinnati Reds a 3.3% chance. So, you ever seen the meme, as we all have, probably with Chris Paul, where he hits a 3 and they're down 60. That's kind of where we're at. DSC, though, they're still a leader. They're a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thank you to DSC, and also thank you. We have obviously another partner that was part of our crew last year that also re-signed this year, and it is nice to have people that consistently do business with us, and I'm glad that we can provide them a service that it's worth doing business with. So, this Reds team, Nick, I don't really know how to paint a picture that is too bright. It is just what is basically a week and a half. You know, we're 10 games in. I get that they're 3-7. It's a terrible look. It's just that the issue now with me is that I was skeptical coming into the season about all of the guys that we were high on, that we were hopeful that would play well. Steers a part of that group. CES is a part of that group. And I'm not saying that I'm out on those guys, but what I am going to say is that now I have a whole nother subset of category that I have to be concerned about with this Reds team. I'm already concerned that I don't think that they're probably major league players, and or maybe they're borderline major league players at best right now. But now we have to worry about how many of these guys that I actually do like are injury prone. The biggest story going on right now, in my opinion, has nothing to do with the lineup today, even though Espinal hit second again. Has nothing to do with the fact that there was at least a little bit of a concern with the starting pitching, I guess, on the back end of this. People are going to get upset at Spiers. Maybe they're going to make a big deal about Sam Moll. Matt McLain is number one. Because if we don't have Matt McLain, it's curtains. It is curtains. I know people might think I'm crazy for saying one player, but the thing is we don't have that many players to begin with. You're taking one of the guys that we could at least on a given day be hopeful that he might be one of the saving graces that comes with this franchise. Elly De La Cruz is already penciled in as the king, right? Next thing you know, Matt McLain looks like he could possibly be a superstar. And I'm going to say it, and I love Matt McLain when he's out there on the field. But the issue that I have with McLain now is it's not one thing. It's not like, oh, he had a you know, I don't know, he had an elbow problem, and then he has an oblique problem, and then all of a sudden now a hamstring problem. It's all over the place. And it's supposed to be maybe just like a day. You think, oh, you give him a day off, he'll get back in the lineup the next day. And now it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Nick Senzel, that's what I think of. And I know that that's not what Reds fans want to hear. But the truth of the matter is like at some point, you are who you are. And I know it's too early to call him the injury prone. I'm not going to give him that label yet. But damn, does it not feel like it when times are dark already? I don't know what you make of that before we get into maybe the play or the game itself today, Nick. But I think that's the number one concern of this franchise at the moment, outside of the fact that, I'm not suggesting that there aren't other things to worry about. But it's like, if you're not able to keep him in the lineup and be healthy on a consistent basis, this is major, major concerns moving forward.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, Matt McLain was like a projected 4-win player, and I was honestly a little skeptical of that, but he comes in the first couple days of the season and looks exactly like the same Matt McLain that we saw in 2023. So, yeah, I mean, if you would have went out and added 2 outfielders, you probably would have hoped that you could have added 2 outfielders that would add up to 4 wins above replacement. So, I mean, yeah, he's an absolutely vital part of this team. And it's hard to read these things because you understand why the Reds would be ultra conservative with McClain. But at the same time, you've heard this before, and it ends up being a lingering thing all year. So I don't have any sort of read because I can see exactly why the Reds would do it, but I also have seen this go the other way. So you're spot on, though. I mean, this team it's hard to see this team doing anything worth a damn without Matt McClain.
Yeah, it feels like the medical situations with this club specifically is very much like the boy who cried wolf. I don't think that they're going to get much benefit of the doubt when it comes to some of these things, whether it's dating back to last year with CES and his hand. Oh, he's fine. X-rays came back negative. He'll be back within a week. And then all of a sudden he doesn't even go on the IL, doesn't play for a whole week. And then all of a sudden his hand's broken. He's out for the season. Like what? I mean, that's strike one. Then you add in the fact that Jonathan India last year is proclaiming out loud that he's trying to go get second and third opinions because he just doesn't think that the medical staff or whoever you want to call it, the doctors, got it right, whatever that means. And also, to be very clear, I don't know. I'm not trying to kill the Reds medical staff like some do just blindly. I don't know all the situations at hand here. I just know that the way in which we have been communicated with in the past when it comes to these injuries has been helter-skelter. There's never been a really consistent, concise message that has seemed to be truthful. And by truthful, I mean it came out to be what they said it was in the beginning. Even going back to Matt McClain last year, Brandon Williamson this year, like, or even Andrew Abbott, right? Like, there's all these guys that I don't know what's going to make of them. And I'm not suggesting that they don't know what they're doing or talking about. And maybe they always downplay these injuries for some known reason because they don't want to lead something on. Maybe there's trade talks about certain things, but they still got to pass physicals and stuff. So like that wouldn't make sense. I guess I'm ranting and raving largely just based off the idea that I'm just sick and tired of the injury being an excuse that we have to consistently use on this show about where the state of this baseball team is. Because we miss Tyler Stevenson. Yes, we do. If Matt McClain doesn't play, Nick, we know we're going to miss Matt McClain. But this is part of baseball now. Like, we can't continue as an organization to say, well, things just didn't break our way last year. We had X, Y, Z happen. At this point, that's basically what it is. And if you don't have depth in your organization to be able to fill these holes, so be it. And also, lastly, I'm well aware that, like, if Matt McClain or Ellie goes down, those are the types of things that you just can't replace, period, because those types of things happen. But CES not playing really all that well, Jake Fraley not playing all that well, Spencer Steer not playing all that well. A good organization is going to have replacements for those guys because you never really knew or guaranteed to get some production out of them in the first place. They were never solid, rock solid answers. And that's where depressed is a strong word, but that's where I get depressed with this ball club and the franchise as a whole, really, is because I just don't think that there's that many answers on this team. God's honest truth. Like, a couple starters, I would go so far to say, and maybe I'm going to get crushed for this, and it's hard to do these things live on the spot. I would go so far to say one starter that I really do believe in, and two position players. And maybe that's too dark, but that's the only thing that I'm hanging my hat on every single year of saying I know what I'm getting out of these guys. Any thoughts that you want to add before we get into the Milwaukee Brewers?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard when you're a small market team. You don't have a margin for injuries, but when you play the Milwaukee Brewers and they got like 8 starting pitchers on the IL, it's kind of hard to complain about it. I mean, they somehow keep finding a way. It's like one of those things that I think it could be a fine excuse, like 1 out of every 3 years or something. Like when you're a small market team, it just you can't survive. But when it happens year after year after year, it just you can't keep doing it. You have to find a way at some point.
Right. The Brewers are so frustrating because what do? They go out, they seemingly do nothing but trade all the way. They just give away all their players. They don't give a damn. They sign a kid that, whatever, 19 years old. He gets an extension. We get extensions from nobody. And next thing you know, he looks like a superstar. And they win games, and I get it. They played us. So it's kind of like we're over here arguing over, which pig has the prettier lipstick on. I don't know. Are the Brewers going to be good this year? Probably not. That's the scary part about all this is like, if we can't beat the Brewers now when they got their 14th starter in their organization going out there and picking up the ball and throwing 5 2/3 shutout inning or whatever it is, when the hell are we going to beat them? Maybe never.
Yeah, the Brewers. I don't know what to say about that team anymore, man. Like I don't know how they keep doing it. How do they keep getting away with this? I don't get it. The only positive thing is that the Giants haven't lost a game other than the one they lost to the Reds, and the Rangers are 8-2. So maybe the Reds did actually kind of run into some buzzsaws while they're beat up as well. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But this Brewers team, losing 3 out of 4 to them when they're just at the absolute bottom of the barrel with starting pitching. It's just so frustrating. I don't know what to say anymore. They're our daddy. Like, that's it.
Yep. Yep. That's what it is. And you know what else it is? Let's get into it. They still have athletic guys out there that make plays. And you know what's crazy about the Brewers is that I really think actually they kind of gave us opportunities this weekend that they otherwise would. They typically don't. There was a double play ball the other day that they bobbled or they didn't catch at second base. That was an error. It kind of gave the Reds an extra out. Reds didn't capitalize on it. There were just uncharacteristic Brewers things that they have done. But the underlying message of what they do have is they do have good athletes that go and make plays, and we're stuck out here with Gavin Lux trying to play left field. Like, I guess we're going to continue to do this. I don't know how long the Reds organization is going to continue to try to find ways to just hide guys out there. And the thing that sucks the most about about hiding players is like they're not even, bear with me here, and I'm not trying to like kill everybody on this team. They're not even great hitters. Like if we put Santiago Espinal in the outfield again, I am going to lose my ever-loving mind. He is honestly, at this point, if I didn't think of Ellie as highly regarded as I do, I would easily state that he is by far and away the best defensive infielder that we have. And somehow the roster management of this organization has decided at times that we are going to take an average hitter, below average hitter, against right-handed pitching, and we're going to stick him in a place where he doesn't even provide positive value for us in the outfield because we need to get him in the lineup because he's a below-average hitter. Like, this makes no logical sense. And I know that Tito said at the beginning of the year, if you want to manage like a fan, you'll become a fan. Well, I hate to say this, man, but there's a lot of fans out there that have computers. There's a lot of fans out there that have fan graphs, and they have statistical data that just shows you exactly what these guys are. And I'm not a guy, Nick, that says you have to play every single game by the book when it comes to whatever the analytical output machine tells you to do. But you got to at least understand some of that and give it a chance to breathe a little bit at times. We're hitting Santiago Espinal in the 2-hole. We got Jake Fraley playing again. Again, he's out there. I didn't get a chance to watch all this game. Did Jacob Hurtubise play in this game?
He got his token pinch hit for the catcher. Jake Fraley's role is pinch hitting for the catcher with the Reds trailing.
I I have built up this personality now that everybody thinks that I just complain all the time. That Trace is he's always the negative guy. I hate to tell you this, but I promise you that if this team plays good baseball, if this team has legitimate major league players, I promise you that I will be extremely excited. I will give praise where praise is due. But I'm not going to sit up here and be a shill and act like what I'm watching and what I'm seeing is worth a crap. It's not. It's not anywhere. Like outside of Ellie, Hunter, and Matt McClain when he plays once a week, that's the only thing that I can get excited about. And I hate to be that way. But like if you're going to watch this show and you're going to listen to me at least, I hope you understand and can rationalize with me of what this team is. Does it mean we're going to give up on them? Does it mean we're not going to watch them this summer at all? Does it mean that the Reds franchise is, not worth even investing any time into? I'm not saying that. But I am going to say that there's a major dysfunction between what happened this offseason, what the plan going into this season was, and the execution of that plan. And it's almost like Tito Francona and the front office and the way they built this team, like they never met about it or something. There's never been a discussion of how you could possibly use these guys and give them the best chance to be successful. And oh, by the way, we have guys at AAA that in case these guys don't really play well, we have options on this team, and we can just move them around like hot potatoes. Now, let me be very clear. Do I think Will Benson, Nick, is going to make this team go from a 77-win team to an 86-win team? Of course I don't. Do I think that Reese Hines or Sal Stewart maybe at some point in the future, maybe Marte, do I think all of these prospects are going to make a huge dramatic difference? I don't, Nick. But I'm gonna at least play the cards that I have in my hand to the best of my ability, and it feels like right now we're not doing that. And if Jake Fraley is on this roster again the next time this team plays, I'm just going to honestly at this point, Nick, do the box score recap with you. I'm going to say a couple words throughout the shows. I'm going to try to keep it moving, and I'm going to be done complaining. But you can point back to this show on April 6th as to what I feel about the whole thing. And at this very moment, I hope you clip this up, and I hope you tell me that I'm wrong. This team sucks so bad that I could see them maybe winning 72 games. And that's the God's honest truth. We'll see.
All right.
72.5 is right now is what I would put this team's over-under at. And I get people are going to scream and yell and take the over. That's fine. Be careful what you wish for.
I'll take the over because I have a lot more belief in other players. There's a lot of holes in this team. I'm not sugarcoating that, but there are a lot more players that I believe in than you. Gavin Lux and Christian Encarnacion Strand. There's a lot of reasons to believe in both of those guys. Gavin Lux, if you look at his StatCast page, he has a lot of good metrics there that just hasn't panned out. His at-bats have been great. He's 100th percentile right now in chase rate. Christian Encarnacion Strand has hit the ball very hard. Outside of that, yeah, I don't have a whole lot more other than Ellie and McClain that really get me excited with the offense. But those two guys I'm excited about. I still, Nick Lodolo, I still am a big Nick Lodolo believer. I still think he can be a top of the rotation arm. Health is the biggest thing with him for sure. And then I still think the totality of this rotation, there's no one else in the NL Central that has it. Now the Brewers, they find a way to do it with scrubs. But I do think the starting pitching is just what's going to keep this team, gives this team a chance, I guess the better way to say, of staying afloat. And then I also look at the bullpen. Tony Santillan's throwing the ball really well. Graham Ashcraft's throwing the ball really well. Emilio Pagan's throwing the ball really well. Taylor Rogers looks like the Taylor Rogers that he's been for the last 4 or 5 years. So I think there are some good pieces here, but they have to find a way to get guys healthy or start at least trying some different guys and trying some other options. They have guys in AAA right now that are crushing it to see if they can complement those other guys.
It's going to take a shot in the arm. I maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this group that they currently have can figure it out, and it's just a small batch of bad baseball that they've found themselves playing. But I just don't believe it, and I largely don't believe it because I don't even think the ceilings are there for many of these guys. I think Spencer Steer has played damn near to his ceiling that he has shown capable of doing a couple seasons ago, and for whatever reason, maybe this front office had felt like that was not the ceiling. And I'd also say that Jake Fraley, I do believe that we've seen the best baseball that he's played. And CES has not been around long enough for us to really know. You know, we can get excited about CES. He certainly deserves a significant amount more time before we cast judgment on him. But Gavin Lux is probably not going to play very good left field. Jamier Candelario has basically been a spike strip when we were what we felt like we had needed some help offensively with this young core baseball team that we originally had back in 2023. And you get him, you spend some money on him, and you get literally next to nothing. So, the crazy thing is not a lot's gone right outside of the fact that Elly De La Cruz is an absolute superstar. And that's just kind of where we sit. And Hunter Green, I keep glossing over that, but Hunter Green's a superstar too, on a great contract. And I guess the last thing I'll say, Nick, before we jump into game time and obviously 988 is, like, there's going to be a work stoppage in 2026, whatever you call it, 2027, I guess. I don't know if it'll be a whole year work stoppage. I don't want to get into the weeds of that right now. We have a significant amount more time to discuss that. But my point in saying this is that when you have lucrative contracts like the Reds do with Hunter Green and Elly De La Cruz, there's never been a more appropriate time, Nick, than to try to figure this thing out. And you have got to hit some home runs in the free agent market. And I'm well aware that the last time, I think we've brought up who was the last big Reds free agent signing that was a bat, that was successful. It's obviously Castellanos, but obviously I'm not suggesting they can go sign Juan Soto in the offseason. But what I am suggesting is that they're going to have to find a way to be right on two guys, I think at least minimum two guys, this following offseason. And we'll see. Maybe we catch lightning in a bottle and these guys prove me wrong, but I just don't see many big leaguers on this team. I don't. And I hate to be that way, but that's where I'm at. All right. Perhaps you listen to me for too long and you're starting to think to yourself, what world am I living in? And why do I watch this team? Well, if you're ever considering about the world thing and not the team thing, I do want you to know that 988 is a resource that you can always text and or call anonymously. You can also visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay to not be okay. Shout out to 988 and the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Game time. They're back. Boy, oh boy. Maybe one of the bigger blunders, perhaps, that we've had is to not start this thing at the beginning of the season. But here we come. We're coming in, starting on April 7th. If you're looking to go down to the ball yard, boys, I got news for you. The ticket prices are probably going to be affordable, and we can make them even more affordable if you go on the Game Time app and get your tickets and you use the code CBOX. That's CBOX. You get $20 off your first purchase. Thank you to Game Time. I've used Game Time plenty of times throughout the course of the last 2 years, and I've always had good experiences. A couple clicks, you're in, you're out. You find your tickets, gives you kind of even a value grade of when you're looking at them, and you can see where you're sitting inside the map. So download the Game Time app today. Use code CBOX, CBOX, for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Nick.
They are the
Nick.
the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Sports. And yeah, code CBOX, $20 off your first purchase. I really like the seat view. I think it's I think it's by far the best of any ticketing app. See exactly where your seats are with the prices. You can scroll around. Really nice app. Good stuff there.
All right. And you can also click the little button that says show me all-in pricing, so you don't have to worry about the whole checkout fiasco when you get to the very end after you've done all this and you think you're paying $20 and you realize the fees jump it up to $60. Don't have to worry about that in the Game Time app. All right, Spiers, Abbott, bullpen we'll get to in just a minute. Listen, this was the debate we had. I had said, Nick, you let this guy run until he can't run no more. How long will it go? I don't know. And here's the thing, I am not going to jump ship on Carson Spiers because of one baseball game. I know hopefully you take that and you feel like that means should mean something for the guy that just sat here and ragdolled the rest of this whole entire franchise, basically. I am not upset at I'm not upset at all about the starting pitching. I'm not upset at the bullpen. This stuff happens. Now, if it happens for a week, we got a problem. But a one-off game in Milwaukee, things happen. I'm not going to overreact to it, Nick. How do you feel about Spiers and obviously Andrew Abbott with his possible return?
Yeah, you kind of have to talk about one with the other. Gordon Whitmire reported that it's basically the way he reported basically makes it sound like it's a done deal. Abbott will take over for Carson Spiers on Friday in Cincinnati against the Pirates. Abbott would stay with Louisville and do his bullpen, not travel across the country. And Spiers will get sent down to AAA. They will not move Spiers to the bullpen, which if you're going to do that, I do agree with that move. I think you want to keep him as a starter, keep him as depth. I don't know. I don't really see a big difference between the two. Abbott was okay. We'll talk about him a little bit more later on. I feel like Spiers just continues to kind of get the short end of the stick.
Right. Yep.
It has to work 5 times as hard as everyone else, has to prove himself 5 times as hard as anyone else. He did give up a lot of hard contact today, but his defense did him absolutely no favors. And the Brewers had his number last year too. So we'll see Spiers again. And I do believe he will have an impact for this team if this team is able to hang around. There's a lot of teams that would love to have a guy like Carson Spiers that they have the option of sending him down to AAA and calling him back up. And that kind of piece is very, very valuable for a team. So, yeah, I kind of feel for him. He's had a tough go about it. But again, hey, Andrew Abbott, he can have a chance. Again, that is as bad as the offense is and how we're grasping for straws to fill out 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. We're not arguing, but we're debating between Spiers and Abbott, two guys that I feel like are both legitimate big league starters. Maybe back in, but they're legitimate big league starters.
Well, that'll be the debate, or that'll be the question. And I'm not here to get into that debate today, but are these guys big league starters? Even if they are a 4 or a 5, we've got to figure this stuff out by the end of the year. And I don't think last year just felt like a dark hole where we learned nothing. We lost a lot of games, and we come into this season, and it seemed like the plan, at least from the front office perspective, was they kind of already had what they wanted in place. It just didn't come to fruition. Let these guys get healthy, and then we'll blossom back to what we had on the back half of 2023. That, to me, seems like a major mistake right now, because it seems as if a lot of the guys that we had planned on being major league talent, they're just not major league talent. And I hope that they become that. Spiers is a question mark. Andrew Abbott, in my opinion, is another question mark. And then secondarily to all of it, you add in the fact that some of these guys seem to get injured all the time, or they're not available all the time. It becomes, at that point, depressing is where I'm getting. Because we kind of give these guys excuses, but this isn't the first time that Andrew Abbott has kind of missed some opportunity to throw. And I'm not suggesting that they all got to be the singers of the world where they're available every single day and they throw 5 or 6 innings. But, seems like we've lived through the Nick Senzels and the Nick Lodolos and now maybe even Matt McClain, and we'll see if anyone else wants to join that club. Hopefully nobody does. All right. Bullpen was on here. I want to touch on it really, really quickly. I am going to make not a whole lot about Sam Moll. And I know people want to jump all over his case and make this a big deal about him. There are times where, and this dates back a little bit, so I'm not just saying it's just today's game. Sam Moll struggled. Okay, he did. But, this bullpen was supposed to be the weak link. I'm going to treat them, Nick, like they're the weak link. I'm not going to suspect if they give up runs over the course of a couple days in a row that I'm going to be shocked and, oh my gosh, this bullpen's terrible. I can't believe this is who they are. This is what they're supposed to be. If you get above and beyond production out of them, let's be excited, but let's not be surprised. Let's not be surprised when this bullpen's in the bottom half of the league of production. And I'm not suggesting that that's a major problem, but it is a major problem when everything else on the team is absolutely atrocious. And then all of a sudden you start pointing the finger at somebody else and suggesting it's their fault as to why things are going wrong. Let's not make the bullpen the scapegoat, okay? The offense scored 2 runs today. Oh, big whoop. They scored 14 and they scored 11 2 games. They went 0-0-0. Opening day, they weren't able to add on. I get the bullpen blew the game. But this offense has been the problem, and it will stay the main problem for me. I'm not going to give them anybody an out, and the bullpen's not going to get the blame for me. Just not going to do it. I mean, honestly, the Reds could lose tomorrow. I don't know. They could lose 7-5, and I'm still not going to get myself in a spot where I'm going to blame the pitching. It's going to take a couple of games in a row before the bullpen and/or starting pitching get some blame for me as to why we're 3-7, because we all can agree that's not been a problem. Just because it happened today, we don't need to make it a big deal. The Reds scored 2 runs, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, try to find another more frustrating April week than this past one, where you score 14 runs, then 0, 0, 0, 2, 10, 2. I mean, just, I don't know. It is just insane of a week as you'll ever see. And what do you make of something like that?
You ready for me to be positive?
Yeah.
The only way that I can find myself to open up that basement door and walk down these steps and turn this computer on tonight is because the young guys that we had originally thought, hey, they might be the saving grace here, there's a couple of them. Will Benson is one of them. And I know this fan base doesn't want to hear that, and I'm not saying Will Benson's a saving grace. But the reason that we got excited in 2023, I don't know if you know this or not, but one of the major reasons that we were excited in 2023 and we had a chance to do something special then, like make the postseason. That's what's special in Cincinnati right now. Make the postseason was Will Benson. He was elite for the back end of that year. And I'm not saying that he's going to continue to be that way, but he sure as hell, at least to a semblance of a degree in AAA, has shown that still somewhat exists. Now, you can say it's AAA. I would tend to agree with you. Does it mean that we bring Will Benson up tomorrow and this team, as I said before, turns the corner and guarantees victory? Of course it does not. But Noelvi Marte is also a part of that mix. So I'm not going to sit here and play you should be excited game. I'm not going to do that. But by God, if Noelvi Marte looked like he did in the Winter League, and he also looked like he did last year, and Will Benson looked like he did last year, I mean, the door wouldn't even have got open. So there's my positives, which obviously will jump us into Reds MILB. I'll get to Super Chats in just a minute.
All right, some Reds MILB. We'll start off with those Louisville Bats. They came back and beat Omaha 7-5. They were actually down to their final out. And guess who came through with an RBI single? William Buchanan Benson. Louisville Bats now 5-4 on the season. In the 10th inning, Edwin Rios and Reese Hines hit back-to-back home runs for that win. Benson 2 for 6, double, 3 RBIs, now hitting .341 with a .942 OPS. Noave Marte, rare slow day for him early this season. He was 0 for 4. Great day for Tyler Callahan, 3 for 4, 2 walks, on base 5 times. He's now hitting .324 with a .984 OPS. Reese Hines, as mentioned, did hit a home run. That home run was a bomb, too. 421 feet, 106.7 off the bat. Avon Johnson, kind of a forgotten guy a little bit because he's batting 9th for the Bats. He was 3 for 5, stole 2 bases. He's hitting .474 with an OPS over 1,200. So he's playing really well as well. Maybe a dark horse if the Reds did call someone up, but he's not on the 40-man, which is always working against him. Andrew Abbott talked a little bit about him earlier. His final line was 4 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Only 53 of his 92 pitches were strikes. Average fastball, this is the biggest concern for me, only averaged 89.9 miles per hour. That's down 2.9 from last season. Did get 11 whiffs and only allowed 4 hard hit balls. The most damage, gave up a solo home run to Harold Castro and an RBI double to Luke Mailey. Luke Mailey crushing it right now for the Omaha Storm Chasers. That's the Royals affiliate. Alexis Diaz also pitched in this game. Not sure if this will be the last time he is on the rehab assignment or not. He went an inning, gave up a hit, an unearned run, a walk, and a strikeout. His outing went like this: weak infield pop-up, weak fly ball that was dropped by Reese Hines, hard hit double, walk, sac fly, and then he struck out Luke Mailey to end the inning. Diaz threw 13 of his 22 pitches for strikes. Diaz got 5 whiffs, and his fastball averaged 93.9. That's down 1.7. Scoreless inning for Luis May with 2 strikeouts. That is good to see. Lyon Richardson gave a run over 2 innings. Double-A, they got postponed against Rocket City, but the big note from that game was Edwin Arroyo was out of the lineup before the game was actually postponed. Arroyo left Saturday night's game early after pulling up, trying to stretch a single into a double, so hopefully just precautionary, no like official word on that. Dayton, they're off to a tough start. They lost 7-6 to West Michigan in 10 innings. Dragons are 0-3, but Adam Serwinowski made his Dayton debut, and he was really good. 3 scoreless innings, no walks, 3 strikeouts. You might remember he was scratched on Saturday with a weird minor injury. I'm speculating maybe it was like cramps or something like that, is the way that it seems like maybe this was. But he was really good. 30 of his 40 pitches were strikes. And then Max Clark, that's the number 5 prospect. He got him out twice, struck him out. Not a whole lot on the offense. Ricardo Cabrera 0 for 4. Carlos Correa 0 for 2. Did walk twice. But Yerlin Confidant, big day, 2 for 3 with a double and a walk. Leo Balcazar 3 for 4 with a pair of doubles. And last but not least, the Daytona Tortugas. They won 7-0 over Bradenton. Tortugas only allowed 4 hits. They improved to 2-1 on the year. Stafura didn't play. Fredo Duno 0 for 2 with an RBI. Carter Graham had the big day, 2 for 4 with a homer. Drove in 3 runs.
All right, we got some super chats. Jay Twa says, canceling my FanDuel subscription 7 days into it. Just not worth dealing with the frustration from an unserious franchise. Thought Tito may help change the culture, but I'd rather make out with my mom.
The second part of that is not interesting, but the first part it actually is kind of interesting, which was is the fact that like now there are going to be a lot of people on these month-to-month subscriptions with the baseball team. I don't think it has a big impact in 2025, but does that have a bigger impact on these teams, financials going down the line? I don't know. It's just something interesting that we haven't really seen before.
That's hard. It's hard to admit that he should do away with the 7 days into it. Obviously, I had purchased the season-long pass, but I guess you do you. As far as the back half of that, I think I'll let the comments underneath the super chat take care of themselves. Sean Krudka says, all right, let's get into the box score recap. And then he's got the old asterisk with the fart sound and the toilet flush. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. It's pretty tough out here. Well, there's more baseball to be played. I know that we're probably not in a position at this moment to get overly excited about it. The Reds are still on the road. Nick, they got to win a series. Haven't won one all year. You'd like to think a 4-game series we could have at least split, especially when we were going up against the I'll keep making the same joke, but we were going up against the Brewers' 13th, 14th, and 15th starters heading into the season.
You're not that far off. I think
know,
people think I'm joking. Like this was their 7th, 8th, probably 9th options as starters.
Yeah. We suck. I mean, we suck. We suck so bad. I do. I think it's going to get better. Yeah, I do. I mean, I hope. I just can't believe this is where we're at on April 6th. Everything that could have gone wrong for the most part, out of one thing that I can think of offensively in my mind, and I'm not going to say it, damn near has gone wrong. And Matt McLean's going to have to, in order for my psyche to get caught back up, I'm going to need him to play baseball. I don't know. I'm not trying to call him soft. I'm not trying to say that they overreact of every little injury that there is on this team. But boy, oh boy, does it feel like we just never find the benefit of the doubt when it comes to some of these guys and their health. All right, Nick. Who, what, when, where, and honest to God, just leave the why out.
We got a rematch of opening day. Hunter Green up against Logan Webb. Logan Webb, Reds actually hit him decent. I mean, as good of a pitcher as he is, had a decent amount of success on opening day. Now, of course, Logan Webb in his second time out absolutely dominated the Houston Astros. 7 innings, 1 run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. So definitely not the guy you want to see on the road in his home ballpark. He's about as good as he gets. But you do have Hunter Green on the mound. Hunter's been great. Pitched well against the Giants on opening day. So 9:45. This is a 9:45 Monday and Tuesday, and then we got a 3:45 game on Wednesday, and then of course the Chatterbox Reds live pregame show back tomorrow 8:30 p.m. So looking forward to that. And the Giants are 8-1, best record in baseball. They have not lost a game other than that Saturday game to the Reds. Swept the Astros and the Mariners. So they're due, right?
They are due to lose. Someone had sent me, I think, a message via X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. They actually asked, which I know that the Reds would never do this. It does remind me of kind of like playing a little bit of a little bit of chess, if you want to call it that, college baseball at times. They asked, have the Reds ever considered reversing their starters to where they'll have basically Carson Spiers going against the ace, and then you get Hunter Green going in against maybe their 4th or 5th starter, and then just taking it. Maybe they're basically suggesting we'll just take our losses with maybe the 1 and 2 starters, but try to win 3, 4, and 5. I get the sentiment. I don't think it will ever happen because that's just not what they do in Major League Baseball. But anything that you want to say to that before we move on?
Well, I understand it. Like, I know I think it makes more sense in the playoffs. Like, actually, Francona literally did this in the playoffs. I remember in 2016, Kluber was like the Cy Young winner. So what he did is he pitched him in game 2, but you could do him in game 2 and game 5 on normal rest. And he actually threw Trevor Bauer, who was not the Trevor Bauer that we saw yet. He threw him in game 1 and actually kind of did that. In the regular season, you try to mix it up, and then you have a rain out and it doesn't work, and you don't want to give Hunter Green less starts because you tried to be cute. Like, that's probably the reason it wouldn't work. But in the playoffs, I think you can strategically do that. Francona actually did it, and Francona got to a World Series doing it.
I'd also say, too, as far as because I even thought the first initial reaction that I had when I'd heard that was like, well, you're going to give maybe some of these guys that are good less starts. All right. As soon as I thought that, I got to be frank with you, Nick. My immediately next thought was, who are we kidding? Do we think that these guys are going to be healthy all year to throw every single start? Do we really think that? I mean, I'll tell you right now, I got one hell of a land to sell you in Florida. You know, that these guys are going to stay healthy long enough for us to miss these starts because we're throwing them out of order. So I kind of push that to the side, and I don't hate the idea. I guess openly know that these guys have these like fundamental ideas, and we have maybe the most fundamental idea type of manager when it comes to regular season, at least. And kudos to him for doing it in the postseason. But maybe we get lucky and somehow there's some rainouts and somehow it all gets mixed around to where that's just the way things line up. But I don't suspect that they'll be doing that. No. So, all right, we have some pregame shows during the week, Nick. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. The pregame show. When and where and why and how can you see it?
Yeah, 8:30 tomorrow, 8:30 Tuesday. Wednesday, a lot of times we don't have it for day games, but we will have one this week because it's a later day game. We don't do it because off the bench is going on at the same time. We don't like to compete against ourselves here at Chatterbox Sports. But yeah, they'll be doing it. I don't know what is it? It's a half hour before Reds Live start. That's the way to do it. That works out the best. It's a little confusing, but 30 minutes before Reds Live. So these games are a little weird because they're at the 45-minute mark. But when the game starts at 9:45, Reds Live does a full 45-minute pregame show. So they'll be live at 8:30. That's my long way to say it. But you know what, Trace, you can do?
What
the cool thing is you can subscribe to Chatterbox Sports. You can click that bell up in the top right corner, and you'll be notified anytime that we go live. So you don't even have to check. Your phone will tell you. Crazy.
It is nice. In fact, I had seen that our channel has lower than the average amount of people that put notifications on. So if you haven't hit the notification bell, please do so. There's a way to subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Let you know when we go live. So we'll be going live a lot this season. Hopefully we have a lot to talk about. Hopefully it's positive. So there is somebody in the chat. I usually don't do this for supers, but someone in the chat says, why doesn't Nick say much? He seems like he's letting Trey spark the majority of the time. I'm just curious of what Nick's thoughts are. They want to know what your thoughts are, Nick.
I'll be doing 150 more of these.
Yeah. No, my thought is that Nick's brand largely is that he tries to stay optimistic about this team, and I don't give a damn who you are. You can be Nick, you could be, hell, you might even be able to be, I don't know, that joke's not going to land, so I'm not going to do it. But long story short, it's kind of hard to be positive after you watch the type of baseball that we've watched.
There's just not much more to say. I mean, the Reds have played like crap.
Right.
You got to hope they play better. I mean, somehow we drag that out to an hour and 15-minute show every night. But That's the gist of it right now. They play bad. They got to play better.
That's right. Well, there's no doubt that I'm the bad cop, and I don't mind being the bad cop. I don't mind it at all because at the end of the day, you know what I want? If I'm going to be criticized, I don't mind it. There's things that I say that obviously are not probably factually accurate at times. My takes perhaps sometimes miss. But I don't think I've ever actually been wrong about something that I've sat here and yelled into this microphone about. In fact, I would love for somebody to find a time where I've yelled into a microphone and I was upset about something and I wasn't ultimately right. The closest thing that probably I can think off the top of my head was Alexis Diaz.
I was right there. I was thinking.
And where's he at right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one's still up in the air.
All right, last one of the night before we head off into the sunset. Jay Twa with another super chat. He says, your top 5 Reds players ever from worst to first. There you go,
Nick.
Nick.
Like the greatest of all time?
Well, I mean, I took that as your top 5. Your would be you, your personal belief. Your top 5 Reds players ever from worst to first. I'm going to have to go first to worst because I can't think of it backwards.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry, yeah, I'm not the one. I mean, Johnny Bench is the Johnny Bench is, I think, clear-cut the greatest Red of all time.
That's your favorite Red of all time?
Are we talking favorite? Are we talking favorite or just great? That's what I was. I mean, Johnny Bench wouldn't be my favorite of all time, as I never saw the guy play.
J-Twa, can you clarify in the chat what you'd like? Can you clarify, please?
I mean, if we're talking,
Thank you,
talking
Sean.
like
I am the
favorite,
realistic cop.
like Paul Janish. I loved Paul Janish. I mean, I'll go some obscure. I loved Chris Heisey. I love some. Will Benson is 100% in my top 5.
Sin Shu Chu. You know, I kind of like a free agent that comes over and actually helps your team win something. Those are the kinds I like. Not the fat slobs that we sign on the offseason from time to time, and they come over here and take all their money and run. I'm not going to name names, but I can just say that, and some of you know who I'm talking
said
about.
your personal favorite players.
All right, personal favorite, Joey Votto for me is number 1. Probably Brandon Phillips, I would say, is number 2. This early in the game, I'm going to even say, even though it's probably not like totally fair to some of the other guys because they had better careers, is Ellie. I think he's just a blast to watch. Arthur Rhodes. Shout out to Arthur Rhodes, number 4. I feel like Arthur Rhodes was fun. That was a fun time in my life. I liked Arthur Rhodes. And then the final guy is probably going to be
Moustakis? That's what
No. I already talked about him a minute ago.
Fairchild?
Let me think of my 5th. You go.
All right, I'm going to go 5. I'm not putting Votto and Ellie in there just because, like, they're so great. Like, I'm doing a little bit more of just, like, guys that I just loved because they're dudes. Not really talent. Not exactly talent. Adam Dunn is number 1 for me. My number 2, this is probably going to shock people. I loved Edinson Volquez. When that guy was on, he was electric. That was, like, kind of the time I was, like, really, like, getting into the Reds for the first time at, like, this craze level that I am now. Edinson Volquez is there. I'm going to put Will Benson at number 3, Chris Heisey at number 4, and I'm going to put Paul Janish at number 5. I loved Paul Janish. There you go.
I like that.
I probably missed someone. It's hard to.
It's hard to pick one out that I'm at right now, but
Hurtubise?
I'll say it. He wasn't a great player by any stretch of the imagination, but I just like the time frame that we were in. But I thought Johnny Gomes was fun.
Yeah. The goggles after they clinched.
I just thought Johnny Gomes was like a good glue guy, you know? That's the type of guy that you want on a club when, you know, this is the thing. Johnny Gomes played on a team that was so competent that we didn't really have to worry about the production level of him. Meanwhile, we're out here worried about the production levels of Blake Dunn and Jacob Hurtubise, and I guess, well, Fraley gets a lot of opportunity, so we should worry about him. But I'd like to get to a point where maybe this team's so good we kind of have some fun Johnny Gomes types guys. And Johnny Gomes, by the way, played well. I'm not looking at his stats. Someone might kill me. I remember there being positive moments with Johnny Gomes.
He had a great run. The Gomes Knicks platoon in 2010 was a dream. That was a dream outfield platoon, elite platoon.
Forgot about that a little bit.
That 2010 team, man, they hit on every single small minor league or whatever signing they were. They hit on every single one of them.
Remember when we got why can't I think of his name? Left fielder from the Cardinals, Ludwig. We got Ludwig, and he just tore it up.
There's a few of those left fielders from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Skip Schumacher would also fit that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, Ludwig killed it, and then like he basically got signed off of just as like a minor league deal or some crazy stuff because he was hitting like 130 for the Cardinals the year before. We signed him, and he ended up having a good year, and then the Reds in Reds fashion were like, let's sign him to an extension. Not because maybe it was just a one-off season, and the next thing you know, we had to cut bait not shortly after. But fun times were the Cincinnati Reds back in 2010 time frame to 2013-ish.
2012, 2013.
I was saying like 10 to 13 was a fun time to be a Reds fan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ludwig still. Yeah.
No. But anyways, all right, folks. It's been a treat. Hopefully this show didn't get you too far down in the dumps, but I just tell you, like, this is how we feel. We're telling you the truth. Maybe we can find them to play some good baseball out in San Francisco, and it'll change the mindset of all of us. But for now, I can only talk about what I see, and what I see is not pretty. So hopefully we find out more, and we can start dunking some basketballs and showing off some Nicolas Cage pillows. So until then, we appreciate you. Watch the pregame shows, and we'll be back better than ever at the end of the San Francisco games, which, to be honest, are going to be pretty late. All right, we love you. Go Reds. Take care, everybody.